I couldn't pay a bunch of people to say they like me and do all this shit.
I know so many things that are going on behind the scenes, what other people don't know. I know that there's a lot of people getting paid to voice those kinds of opinions.
It's the kind of rivalry that refuses to fade. Two women, two icons, two queens of hip-hop whose worlds collided in a way that the internet will never forget. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B didn't just change rap. They redefined what it means to rule it. But what began as mutual admiration and friendly competition soon became something darker, something that's now spiraled into one of the most explosive and deeply personal feuds the industry has ever seen. And even after years of tension, apologies, and silence, the storm has reignited once again, louder, harsher, and more public than ever before. Fans can't stop watching, and no one can look away, because at this point, it's no longer about music, it's about legacy. As the dust settles on another chaotic week between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, the internet is once again on fire. Tweets, deleted posts, screenshots, and speculation, all swirling together into a narrative that's become almost impossible to separate from the truth. And yet, one question still lingers. How did it come to this? How did two of the most influential women in hip-hop go from breaking barriers together to tearing each other apart in front of millions? Stay until the end, because today we're breaking down the feud that refuses to die, the full story behind Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B, from the very first spark to the moment everything exploded online again. And trust me, you're gonna want to hear what's been said in the last few weeks. Before we get started, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend, and tell us in the comments where you stand in this never-ending battle. Do you think either side has gone too far, or is this just part of hip-hop history repeating itself? Now, let's rewind to where it all began.
So why is it that when people want to listen to me, you cannot believe it, that I gotta be cheating for that? My new single came out called Money, right? And yeah, it's doing so good on Apple. It's actually #1 on the top charts, all genres on Apple. And that's the same shit that you got your Queen Radio on. So how can I possibly use payola on some shit that endorses you? Man, is you shitting me?
The rise of two queens. Before there was a feud, there was respect, at least. That's what it looked like from the outside. Nicki Minaj had already cemented herself as one of the most dominant female rappers of all time. She was the blueprint, the woman who broke through every barrier, who built her empire verse by verse, hit by hit. When Cardi B entered the scene, she was something different. Raw, unfiltered, authentic. She wasn't polished like the rappers before her, and that's what made her powerful. She wasn't just a rapper, she was a phenomenon. Bodak Yellow made her a global name overnight, and for the first time in years, Nicki had competition at the top. But with success comes comparison. Fans started drawing lines, choosing sides. Barb's versus the Barty gang. And when fan bases start wars, the artists often get dragged into the middle, whether they want to or not. Tensions ignite. At first, both artists played it cool. They smiled in interviews, denied any problems, even shared the stage together once. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. Rumors swirled that Nicki felt pushed out of her spotlight, that the industry she helped build was now being reshaped around Cardi. And on the other side, fans speculated that Cardi felt undermined, that Nicki's subtle comments and online behavior hinted at jealousy. For a while, it was just whispers, until one night in New York changed everything. To Harper's Bazaar incident. It was 2018 during New York Fashion Week, a night of high glamour that turned into chaos. Inside the Harper's Bazaar Icons party, cameras flashed, celebrities mingled, and then, in an instant, the energy shifted. According to reports, Cardi B confronted Nicki Minaj about comments she allegedly made about Cardi's daughter. What happened next became one of the most infamous moments in pop culture history. Honest, in the blink of an eye, security rushed in, heels were flying, and Cardi B was escorted out with a bump on her forehead that instantly went viral. The world watched, stunned. Two of the most powerful women in music had just turned a private rivalry into a public spectacle, and from that night on, nothing was the same. Nicki denied any wrongdoing, Cardi doubled down, and the fan base wars grew even louder. For years afterward, there were brief truces, small moments of silence where people wondered if the feud had finally cooled off. But deep down, everyone knew it wasn't over. The calm before the storm. In the years that followed, both artists focused on their music, their families, and their own empires. Nicki married, became a mother, and began working on new projects. Cardi built her own legacy, launching brands, collaborating with global stars, and continuing to break records. It seemed like both women had moved on, until one post brought everything back. The trigger, a tweet worth $4.99. It started when Cardi B released her new album, Am I the Drama? A title that fans immediately saw as a playful nod to her reputation online. The album dropped to excitement and debate, and for a moment, all eyes were on Cardi again. Then came a post from Nicki Minaj's account, just 3 simple characters, 4.99 cents. Fans believed it was a jab at Cardi's album price on iTunes, a digital side-eye that reignited years of buried tension. Cardi didn't stay silent. She fired back, defending her success and calling out Nicki directly, saying she should be comparing herself to legends like Drake, Taylor Swift, and Beyonce, not to newer artists like her. That single exchange shattered the fragile peace between them, and what followed was chaos. Trauma. Over the next few days, their feud escalated faster than anyone could have predicted. Tweets flew back and forth, screenshots surfaced, then disappeared. Both artists accused the other of hypocrisy, insecurity, and obsession. But then things took a darker turn, because this time it wasn't just about music or fame, it got personal, too personal. Both women began referencing each other's families, their parenting, even their children. For fans, it was shocking. For others, heartbreaking. Nobody wanted to see two mothers, two industry icons, throwing such painful words across social media for the world to watch. And yet it kept getting worse. Rumors, accusations, emotional outbursts. Every post added fuel to a fire that had already been burning for nearly a decade. By the time the week was over, it wasn't just a feud anymore. It was an all-out digital war, a public unraveling of two careers once destined to coexist at the top. And still, even as fans begged them to stop, neither one backed down. To strike the Rock Nation theory. As the feud spiraled, fans began searching for answers. Why did things explode again after so many years of quiet? Some speculated that it all came down to a single name, Jay-Z. Cardi's album featured a sample from one of Jay-Z's songs, a rare blessing that thrilled her fans and gave her new credibility. She even mentioned in interviews how grateful she was that Jay-Z personally approved it. But around the same time, Nicki had been publicly criticizing Rock Nation, the label and management company founded by Jay-Z. Posts, comments, and cryptic references all pointing to tension between Nicki and that powerful circle. So when Cardi's connection to Jay-Z became public, fans began wondering, did that spark something deeper? Was this just about competition, or did it hit a personal nerve? Nobody could say for sure, but the timing was suspicious. And once again, speculation became fuel for a fire that refused to burn out. But the story doesn't end here, because as the feud escalated to its most personal and painful point yet, both women would cross a line that shocked even their most loyal fans, and it all played out in real time. When fans thought things couldn't possibly get any worse, the feud took a turn that no one could have predicted. Because what started as digital jabs and petty tweets soon evolved into something far more disturbing, a public breakdown that exposed not just their rivalry, but their pain. At the height of their online exchange, both women went too far. The insults became personal, then they became cruel. In the middle of the chaos, Nicki and Cardi began referencing each other's children, a move that instantly drew outrage from fans across social media. People begged them to stop. Others couldn't look away. The feud had gone from entertainment to something that felt like emotional warfare. In one of the most shocking moments of their online back and forth, Cardi B called out Nicki Minaj for spending her son's birthday arguing online. The message was harsh, raw, and laced with anger. Nicki, in turn, fired back with her own venom, mocking Cardi's family and defending herself in ways that blurred the line between defense and destruction. The posts multiplied, screenshots spread like wildfire, and before long, both women were being accused of crossing the one boundary fans never thought they would, attacking each other's children. Even diehard supporters began to question their idols. One fan wrote, "We love them for their strength, but this isn't strength, this is pain." And that's exactly what it looked like. Pain disguised as rage. The internet erupted. Millions of fans debated who started it, who crossed the line first, who was right or wrong, but in the noise, one thing became clear: no one was winning. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Tweets disappeared and reappeared within hours. For every apology, there was another insult waiting behind it. And as the hours turned into days, the chaos didn't slow down. Both women kept posting, deleting, and posting again. By this point, fans weren't just watching a feud, they were witnessing a breakdown play out in real time. Many wondered how it had reached this level. Was it years of bottled up resentment, or just the pressure of fame finally boiling over for everyone to see? No one knew the full truth. But one thing was certain: the internet had never seen anything like it. Canabense. As tensions peaked, Cardi took things further, calling for Nicki to drop the addy, slang for an address, essentially challenging her to meet in person. The phrase repeated again and again, echoing through social media like a rally cry. Drop the addy. It wasn't about music anymore. It wasn't even about pride. It was about power. Who could dominate the other in the eyes of the public? Even as fans begged both to stop, neither side showed signs of backing down. And every post, every screenshot, every word added more fuel to an already raging inferno. As the feud continued, whispers turned into headlines. Rumors suggested that Nicki was reacting out of frustration over Cardi's growing industry ties, especially her association with Jay-Z and Roc Nation. Others claimed that Cardi's new album had reignited old insecurities, reminding both women of the comparisons that once started it all. Still, neither Nicki nor Cardi confirmed any of it. Every claim was met with silence, sarcasm, or another layer of chaos. But to fans, it didn't matter anymore, because by now the feud had taken on a life of its own, no longer about truth, but about perception. And perception is powerful. When the tension seemed unbearable, both artists did something no one expected. They wrote open messages to each other's children. First came Nicki's message. It was framed as an apology, but even within her words, there was an undertone of bitterness. She referred to Cardi's daughter affectionately at first, then pivoted toward a darker reflection, claiming she had done everything for a bigger purpose and that one day it would all make sense. It was strange, emotional, and uncomfortable, more a confession than an apology. Then came Cardi's reply. Her message, directed at Nicki's son, was equally shocking. What was meant to be reflective came across as scathing, heavy with resentment and pain. In the span of hours, what could have been a turning point toward peace instead became the moment that cemented just how deep this feud had cut. The internet froze. Fans couldn't believe what they were reading. Because this wasn't just two artists exchanging insults, this was personal history spilling into public view, the kind of pain that even fame couldn't hide. After the storm came silence, at least for a moment. Nicki shifted her focus to her career, posting about her tour, celebrating her chart success, and sharing new music. Cardi did the same, promoting her album, telling fans she was moving on, and hinting that she'd had a rough week. But even in their new posts, fans could sense the lingering tension. Every caption, every lyric, every subtle emoji became a source of speculation. Was that shade? Was that a message? Was this feud really over, or were they just reloading? And if you followed Nicki and Cardi for long enough, you already know silence doesn't always mean peace. A battle beyond music, when you strip away the noise, the tweets, and the memes. What's left is something much more human. Two women who fought their way to the top of an industry that often tries to pit women against each other. Two artists who turned pain into power, and who, somewhere along the way, let the industry's pressure, fan wars, and pride turn admiration into animosity. And while many fans are quick to pick sides, others see something different, a reflection of how fame amplifies every emotion, every insecurity, every misunderstanding until it becomes impossible to control. In a way, the feud between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B isn't just about them. It's about what happens when the internet becomes the courtroom and every post becomes evidence. It's been years since that first confrontation, and yet the shadow of their rivalry still hangs over hip-hop. Their names are forever linked not just through music, but through controversy. And maybe that's the tragedy of it all. Because when you look beyond the headlines and the drama, you find two women who changed music forever, but who may never get the chance to fully celebrate each other's greatness. Still, fans continue to hope that one day the bitterness fades. Hope that one day the music speaks louder than the noise. Hope that one day the feud that refused to die finally rests. But for now, it lives on, in tweets, interviews, and the minds of millions still fascinated by their story. Chompete. As of today, Nicki Minaj continues to reign as one of the most decorated female rappers of all time, while Cardi B remains one of the most influential voices of her generation. Their paths, though divided by pride and pain, still mirror one another in ways neither can deny. Because whether they like it or not, Nicki and Cardi are two sides of the same coin. Two women who built empires out of ambition. Two artists whose fire refuses to go out. And that's why this feud, no matter how much time passes, still captures the world's attention. It's not just about who wins. It's about what it reveals, about fame, about pride, about what happens when two unstoppable forces collide. So as this chapter continues to unfold, one question remains. Will either of them ever let it end? Or will the feud between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B truly be the one that never dies? If you've made it this far, we want to hear from you. What do you think about this never-ending battle? Was one side pushed too far, or have both gone beyond redemption? Let us know your thoughts below. And if you found this deep dive as unbelievable as we did, make sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe for more untold stories from the world of hip-hop. Because in music, legends rise, empires fall, but some rivalries never fade.